Moving from a traditional house or apartment into an independent living arrangement is a major life transition. Even more stressful is having to make this move during COVID-19. Tammy Milliner with Strive at Fern Park is here to share tips on selecting an assisted living facility during COVID-19. And Tammy, gosh, we were just chatting off camera, even though there's a pandemic, people still have that need to find an assisted living facility.
Absolutely.
And my first question is, are they open? Are they accepting people?
Yes, they are open. All assisted livings are open and still accepting people in some capacity. What that looks like for everyone is a little different on how they take people in, but yes,
oh,
they are
thank goodness for that. But I'm sure things have really changed now. Before COVID-19, just basically what would have been the procedure for someone looking for an assisted living facility?
They would set up a tour. They would go based on what their needs are and their interests. They would pick somewhere for themselves, whether it was the amenities, whether it was the food that someone offered. Those were kind of the things that people looked at prior to that. Although care is always going to be important, a lot of people are usually wowed by the building or the amenities that it offers. So that's kind of how tours went prior to that.
So now we come to
COVID.
We come to 2020 and everything kind of stops essentially. But yes, the care facilities continue on. Our loved ones are there, or we have loved ones that we need to find the right fit. We need to find a facility. So now what do we do?
So it is kind of threw everything upside down, but during when COVID was pretty bad, we were able to do virtual tours and other ways of showing people what the community had to offer. A lot of questions about if anyone was positive in the community. Those are things that we're kind of working through. But now with the new order and the limited visitation with things being a little different, we are able to take people on a tour. They can have only 2 people, but they do still have to meet the screening protocol and everything else. And we also can't be under a quarantine. If that has to happen, we have to be COVID-free for 14 days to be able to give one of those tours.
And I imagine they would now have less of a physical interaction with, staff or people at the facility. Maybe, I don't know if it's ever occurred that they meet some of the other residents?
A lot of the time we try to make sure that however we do the tour, they're able to see the residents, but not have close contact, because we still want to make sure we're social distancing, making sure that we're still following all of the distancing guidelines. But we do want them to see what they're able to do in the dining room and see the activities, but see it a little bit from afar. So we kind of plan them around to make sure that we're abiding by that.
Which is pretty much what we're all doing at this point. But now I have a loved one, and everybody is in a kind of different situation depending on their physical or mental abilities. And how do you really find the right fit for your loved one?
I think that once they're able to, now that they're able to do the tours and everything else, safety is a huge thing for a lot of people, where I don't think the way safety is looked at a year ago is the same as people look at it now. They kind of see what works for people. If someone does have someone that's at a different part of the disease for Alzheimer's, or if they have someone that's just looking at coming into an assisted living for the social aspect of it, I think different places can offer different things. So that's kind of what they're going to be looking for at this point, is what's going to gear towards their family members specifically at this point during this.
And so are there specific questions I should be asking just regarding COVID-19?
A lot of people are asking, are you under a quarantine currently? Are there positive cases? They are asking a lot of those questions, but they are also asking, what do you guys have as far as engagement? Can we make sure that if they're coming from a home or an apartment, a lot of the issues that people have been having, that we've been having tour, is more of the fact that they're worried about isolation because their family members aren't allowed to go out like they once were, and they're not getting that social interaction with other people. So that's been a really big thing, is making sure that they're engaged.
Absolutely. And I know so many of the facilities that I'm familiar with, they'll have bus outings to different places in the area. And I'm sure all of that now has just been canceled.
It has, and we're really hoping that once things start to lift a little bit, we can get kind of creative, even if it's social distancing on the bus. Just being able to go out and take a bus ride means the world to people that aren't able to leave the community at this point.
I'm sure it makes all the difference.
We've already talked about all of that. We can't wait for that day to come. We're just unfortunately not there quite this minute.
So we found a facility. We're happy with that situation. As a family member, how do we kind of ease that transition?
Just making sure that they know why they're doing it, making sure that they feel safe in the environment that they're going to. Those are kind of all the things that we're making sure that they're on board, and then also knowing that they can visit. I think that will ease people's minds knowing that they can actually see them, whereas before they were putting them into the community and then not being able to visit.
And then not being able to visit at all. And of course, we've talked about the protocols of new things opening up for a little bit easier to see our loved one in that facility.
Yeah, I think that that's going to be a big thing. And even with the new phase that's opening for general businesses for phase 3, I think we will hopefully see a lot more people that are able to kind of lift things and be able to have a little bit more visitation on a different level.
Terrific. Now, Tammy, it's good to know that assistive residential communities are accepting new residents and that you're working on making the selection and transition as easy as possible. Thanks
Absolutely.
again.
You're very welcome.